This sequence is mainly targeted for your hips and glutes. Make sure that your knees stay safe the entire time. And if you need to, support yourself with the props, with a block or a cushion, so that if it's too intense, rather than coming out of the pose early, you support it so that you can still be in that motion and get the benefit. Remember, with yin, you're trying to relax into the stretch. So it's not force we're looking for, it's duration. So it's how long we're doing it. And your mind needs to be inside your body to tell it to relax. So wherever you feel the sensations, you want to send those signals with your exhale to let go, to relax. So that, again, it's just think about relaxing into the stretch. So we're going to start with our first pose here. We'll get into our downward dog first to kind of stretch things out. So hands about 6 inches in front of your shoulders, fingers separated. And make sure that the knuckles, the heel of the hand, and the fingertips are pressing into the mat. Feet about 2 fists apart, curl the toes, and as you exhale, lift your hips up and start to reach them back with a slight little bend in the knees for your first down dog. Shoulders always rolling out away from the ears, as if wrapping the armpits around. And hips are lifting so that you can straighten out your lower back. Keeping the neck soft, arms long, as if pushing the front of the mat away from you. Make sure to breathe deep. Open up those shoulders. Lengthen that lower back. And maybe for the first round, walk the legs out a little bit to get some blood flowing. At first, as we enter into the pigeon pose now, the right knee comes to the outside of the right wrist. Left knee comes down. And if you have any knee issues, you rest onto the outside of your thigh all the way onto the ground. Back knee can bend a little bit. And you're just going to start to fold forward until you start to feel it. Maybe even putting a block underneath your forehead. And just relax into this motion. As long as you're feeling something anywhere around the hips, you know, lower back, maybe even the outside of the thigh, but make sure your knee joint feels safe the entire time. For those who are, you know, without any knee issues and a little more flexible, you square the hips off to the floor so that both of them are pointing down. You walk your left knee back a little bit further. Lower half of the body is resting, and option 1 is to stay up tall. This will help the weight of your body push down onto the hips a little more, allowing you to get some leverage. The other option is to start to make your way forward so your lower half is relaxed, your spine lengthens forward. And you can rest with your elbows down, forehead on fists, or forehead on a block. If you're finding it too much for your hips, you can always place a block or a cushion underneath to help support. Eventually, elbows out to the side, forehead down. Taking deep breaths, relaxing, letting go, with the intention here again to focus your attention inside your body. On the inhale, breathe into wherever you're feeling those spots. And as you exhale, tell them to relax. Tell them to let go. Send the signal to release the tension that you're holding on to. And the key is to keep the diaphragm moving so that your body relaxes and lets go a little bit more. And you'll feel this nice and really around the glutes, the outside of the leg, the IT band. And everybody will feel it in a slightly different place depending on where your tensions are. You can rock, you can move around a little bit, change the angle, kind of notice where you're holding on to the tensions inside your body. And when it's time to come out, you slowly come up, bring your hands in, and let's just do a little bit for our hip flexors here too. So you maybe come up onto the fingertips and start to lift your pubic bone up, abdominals, your heart. You can press the top of the foot, your left foot, into the mat a little bit, and that'll help lift your pubic bone up more. For the very flexible, and I mean very flexible, you don't want to try this at home if you're not. Your right hand will stay down on the mat or maybe on your fingertips. Your both hips will stay squared to the front. Now you lift your hips up a little bit to bring the foot in towards your glute. and then you let the hips sink forward, heart lifts. So it's a really great stretch for the quads. Not generally accessible for anyone else. If you can't do this option yet, no worries, because it'll still start to open you up in that direction just by lifting upwards. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. Keep lifting the heart with every inhale. Now 1 more inhale, lift the heart up. Exhale, slowly release the foot. Plant the hands down. Now bring your left knee in a little bit. Curl the toes, lift the hips up, take it back. Oh yeah, make a nice noise. Lengthen. Take the hips from side to side here. Open up the ribs. Shake off the ants. And then when you're ready, you take the left leg up and slowly left knee to the outside of the left wrist. Now, again, option 1 for those of you with an injured knee, just rest on the outside of your leg so that it's completely on the ground, and start to fold at a diagonal angle slightly. And resting here, again, you can take the block underneath your forehead. And you'll notice that one side may feel a little different than the other. And that's okay. Our bodies we tend to use them very differently from one side to the next. If you're ready, you square the hips. Rotate the left thigh out with the left hand as you take the right knee back. That'll just adjust yourself a little bit deeper. Stay up tall if you prefer, or lengthen forward. And relax into the stretch. Deep breaths into where you're feeling it most. And as you exhale, just relax and picture your body. If you're good at visualizing, visualize your body releasing and sinking closer to the floor. The mind has a huge effect on the body, and the intention that you continuously impress upon, the body will act on it. Sometimes letting out a moan can really, help release some of the stuff as well. So, feel free to do whatever you need to do. This is your time. This is all about you. It's about nobody else. Just letting go of a lot of those tensions that we've stored in our body for such a long time. You can even try angling your torso a little bit to the opposite side and seeing how it gets right into the corners. You could even add a spinal twist if you wanted to get into your lower back, where your forearm is lined up right underneath your shoulders. Your left hand goes to the outside of your left thigh, rotates the thigh out as you twist from the navel, so as if you're twisting the navel towards the left side. Eventually coming back to center and coming into that back bend. So maybe just stay here. Keep the heart up, pubic bone up. Or maybe lift the hips up, bring the foot in without drawing the hips back. So you want to keep the hips squared. If you can't reach the foot without keeping the hips squared to the front, then maybe you're not ready for that option yet. See that this side is a lot tighter than the other side for me. So I gotta watch how far I go into it. Doesn't matter how far, it's more about how it feels. So you focus inside and release that tension. Three more deep breaths here. Slowly release it. Curl the toes, bring the right knee in. Lift the hips up, press the hands down, and as you exhale, right back. A lot of ants hanging around me here. Lock it out a little bit. Now we're coming into the gecko. You're going to push into the left foot as you lift the hips and take the right foot to the outside of the right hand. So your hands are roughly underneath their respective shoulders. Your knee and toes are pointing about, I don't know, about 15-20 degrees to the side a little bit, always keeping the knee lined up with roughly the middle toe. And from here you lift up and you take your thumb right into the hip crease. Take the muscle away from your body and out to the side a little bit so that your hip has a little more clearance to come in, as if somebody's pushing down onto your lower back a little bit. And you know, a lot of people feel just enough, you know, from this position, letting the weight of their hips sink forward. Always you can put a cushion underneath the back knee if you're feeling some tenderness back there. And as you're ready, you start to maybe sink left elbow down onto a block, maybe both elbows down onto the floor, if you can get that far. And that's, you know, if you can't, you just stay where you are and work at releasing whatever you're dealing with. Whatever's going on, wherever you're feeling it, wherever you need to kind of focus your attention. I like to lean a little bit of my weight into the right side here. And if you want to, you can even activate that back leg and change how you're feeling a little bit. It's a lot more active, a little more strong. But you know, with yin, we're trying to generally relax and breathe. And focus that attention and your intent so that it matches what you're trying to do with your action. When you align all three, intent, attention, and action, you get a lot more of what you need done. Now, I've been doing a lot of kettlebell stuff these days, and I'm feeling it in my body. You know, when you don't counter the strength with flexibility, you'll start to go more in one direction. So it's always about balancing strength and flexibility, strength and flexibility. You keep working with both. It's like a wave back and forth, so that you're strong and flexible. And I used to believe that if you could only be one or the other. So a little good quad stretch again for some of you who are a little more flexible. Again, you're going to feel this in hip flexor as well, but this one's just a little added extra. You lift the hip up, you grab with the right hand to the left foot, draw it in, and then just let the hips gravitate back down towards the mat again. You can even make your way down onto the elbow if that's where you can go. And I can really feel this on the outside of my quad here, on the left side. And as long as you're relaxing, it won't feel uncomfortable. But as soon as you tighten up and resist the experience, that's when it starts to feel uncomfortable and what some people even label as pain. Again, you want to make sure you're never feeling any discomfort in your joints or in any of your injuries. So you slowly release, come back up onto the palms, lift the back leg up first, hips up, and then slowly back to down dog. And down dog is that nice neutral position in between. Oh, it feels so good to stretch out. But my left side is getting jealous here, so whenever you're ready, it's like left foot outside of left hand. You know, rotate the thigh out, let the right knee come down. And again, just, you know, you can wait up here a little bit. There's no rush to get down. Just deep breaths. Relax into the gravity's motion. Gravity's pulling on your body already. You just need to relax. Let go. Be there to allow it to move into that direction. Something that helps you release a lot of tension too is just finding reasons to be grateful, whether it be for the experience that you're going through right now in your hip, or for some other reason, you know, some other circumstance or person in your life that you're grateful for. It generally helps you get in a better mood. So shift that weight a little more into your left hip. And don't worry again how far you get into the pose. I remember when I first started, coming from 12 years of weightlifting, I got in my first yoga class, I couldn't do any of this stuff. You do the best you can without forcing your body. Up for that quad stretch if you're ready for it, otherwise just stay where you are. Foot comes in towards hip, you grab hold, and then you sink back down however far you can. And just let the tissues release. Release it down. Hands underneath respective shoulders, back leg comes up, right back to downward dog. Shake off the ants. Stretch it out. Open up the shoulders. Walk the legs. You can take a moment in downward dog or a seated position for a sec, kind of let the lower half of your body settle into position. We're going to come into a little bit of a hamstring stretch and a stretch for the upper back muscles as well. It's called the half butterfly. If, again, all of us are coming at with different bodies into this practice, whenever you're doing a seated forward fold, you want to make sure that your pelvic bowl is tilting forward. So if you need to raise yourself up onto a cushion or a block, maybe a support underneath your knees so that they don't hyperextend, it's always a good idea. So left leg is out in front. You push into the four corners. Right heel, you flex the toes first. Draw the heel in as close as you can to your hip and then rotate out to the side. And if your knee is hanging up off the floor, support it so your foundation is solid. So your left leg out, right leg is flexed. You square yourself over towards the leg. And you can start off with a flat back. So you inhale up, exhale fold, maybe just rest the hands alongside you. The quad flexed. This will help emphasize your hamstring more. But if you want to get the entire back line of the body, you can kind of round down, hug the toes in, and just let your shoulders and head relax. This will encompass more of the back line of your body. And then again, you just breathe deep and relax. Inhale deep and send those signals to let go of that tension. With this pose, if you need to, you can always place a block or something underneath your forehead to support the back of the neck. Remember to stay focused inside your body. Allow the gravity to do the work. Just relax and let go. Relax and let go. Generally holding a pose 2 to 5 minutes and give it a really good stretch and really start to affect change in your body so that you're longer, you're more relaxed, more aligned. And the more you free up your tensions in your body, the more you let go of them, the more energy you have, because tension is a real energy drain. So when you want to come back up, instead of using your back muscles, use your hands to slowly roll it up. Help the knee up, extend the leg out. Maybe take the hands back about 10 inches. Option 1, lift the heart up, open up the chest. Option 2, big toes together, roll the thighs in towards each other. Point the tailbone towards the heels first to curl it under. And then when you're ready, you lift up, you push the toes down, you open up the chest, and only once your toes are all the way down, you then drop the head back if you want to. Arms strong. Back down. Right leg out. Left foot flexed. Heel in, keeping the foot flexed as you rotate the thigh out. Use the block if needed. Activate both legs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Straight spine to emphasize hamstring. Round back to get the entire back line of your body. And deep breaths and relax. Focus on where you're feeling it most. Focus on where your body's resisting the motion you're coming into. And with every exhale, just tell that to relax. Send the signal. Send the image. Whatever you have to do. Focus your attention. A lot of these tensions that we're storing are in our mind. If you were to inject somebody with anesthesia, you can pretty much take anybody into the full splits without any resistance. Just wouldn't want to wake them up there. So when you want to come back out, use the hands, help the knee up, extend the leg out. You're going to slowly make your way onto your back. Let the shoulders release back into the mat at this point. This is going to feel good, so let them drop in that other direction. And we're just going to finish off with a small leg spinal twist. So you bring your feet in, hands out. Big toes together, knees together. Cross the right knee over the left thigh. Shift your hips to the left side a couple of inches. Sorry, right side. And then as you exhale, let the knees fall to the opposite direction. Just relax your body here, let go. Breathe down into the belly so that it's all expanding. And just let gravity release your body. Deep breaths. Relax. Slowly come back up, one leg at a time if needed. Come back to center. Rock the lower back around, massage it a little bit after that one side, neutralize it, maybe a happy baby motion for a sec, walk the hips back and forth. Hug them in, lift the tailbone. And then when you're ready, other side, feet together, hips over. Left knee crosses over right thigh. You can always place a support underneath the knees if it was hovering and you couldn't relax them. Otherwise, just let your legs relax. Let your arm go. I like to just have my right hand just holding, not pushing, just using the weight of my arm to hold the knees down. Deep breaths into the belly. Those deep breaths in this pose when you're in a spinal twist are really good for massaging the digestive system as well. And if you're ever having a stressful day, some nice easy spinal twists can help release the tension on the adrenal glands as well. Take 5 more deep breaths here. And slowly come back up. Hips back to center. Hug the knees in. Knees up to the side if needed a little bit. Try to keep the tailbone, head, and shoulders relaxed on the floor. And then when you're ready, you extend out, legs out a little bit wider than your feet, your hips. Hands out to the side, shoulders relaxed. Are you serious? And just relax. Take a few deep breaths. And ignore the lawnmower. And eventually, when you want to come back up,
slowly roll it up.
And take a few moments after your practice to notice the difference before and after. And you'll notice that you're probably feeling a little lighter, a little more relaxed, and a lot happier. And if you do just a little bit of this on a regular basis, you'll be surprised what a difference it'll make. Thank you very much. Namaste.